All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, Chicago the Band performed a concert in Dallas a few nights ago, and there are only two original members on stage, which apparently had a few fans scratching their heads. Uh, Jimmy Pankow, a very important part of the Chicago horn section, was a no-show, leaving just Lee Loughnane and Robert Lamb as the two original members from the band that started back in the 1960s. Just two guys. Now, Robert Lamb did an interview a year or two ago where he envisioned that Chicago may continue someday with zero original members, much like what Blood, Sweat, and Tears has done over the years, with sort of a musical director from the original lineup. I think that gentleman's name is Bobby Colomby, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I don't know if he's still around, but he was the guy who was basically overseeing the personnel, like the people who would actually be in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Bo Bice was in it for a while and really got my attention because he was the perfect vocalist for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Chicago, on the other hand, has not taken that road where they find a vocalist who actually sounds like Peter Cetera. And there have been a few complaints. I mean, I get them a lot. People basically say, look, their newest singer, he doesn't play an instrument. He's kind of awkward on stage. He does have a great singing voice, no question. But you had these traditional high tenor voices from Cetera to Jason Scheff to the amazing Jeff Coffey. And now you've got something else. And then factor in now only two original members. Don't know what's going on with Jimmy Pankow. Again, all of these guys are fairly long in the tooth. In fact, one of the other complaints I heard was that Robert Lamb was really beginning to show his age, which he is 76 years old. You might want to cut Robert some slack because for many years he did not age and he looked better than everybody else. I think he's still, based on the remaining original members, is probably still the best looking guy up on stage. But now you've got a stage full of people who joined the band, many years ago in some cases, like Keith Howland. I think he's in the band now like 26 years. Lou Pardini, who joined, I think, in like 2007 or 2008. And these guys are really carrying the torch along. And based on what Robert Lamb has said, this could be the future of Chicago. These guys, once they get a taste of touring again this year, even though supposedly they were supposed to keel over on stage and that's how they were supposed to kind of end everything. But my guess is they might want to hang back and enjoy their life and be with their families. And then, Robert Lamb, I would assume he'd be the musical director who would bring people in to fill his role. Keep in mind, Robert Lamb's role in Chicago, as time went on, drastically got less and less. Robert Lamb was basically a no-show in the 1980s. He had no hit songs on the radio. He hasn't had anything since then. Chicago did release a tune called Feel back in, I think it was 2005, where Robert's voice was actually on the track. And the song did get into the adult contemporary top 30 or 40. But that's as close as Robert Lamb has come to being on the radio in many, many years. And again, his involvement with Chicago, based on their catalog, I mean, you look at Beginnings, Saturday in the Park, Do You Really Know What Time It Is? Those are kind of like the three big ones. I mean, there are a couple more, but those are the three big ones. Even though he wrote 25 or 6 to 4, you need the high tenor voice to sing it. So I can easily foresee Chicago maybe even recruiting some better quality representatives when everybody decides to call it quits, which would be Jimmy Pankow, Lee Loughnane, and Robert Lamb. I would say revamp the whole thing. Find some people, find a guy who plays, no offense to Keith Howland. I love Keith Howland. Keith Howland doesn't really sing for the band. He did a couple of times. He has kind of a higher voice. He sang a bit back in the 90s or probably early 2000s where he would sing like Old Days or something. But they've never found that scorching guitar player who had that great soul voice like Terry Kath. And look, maybe these people can't be replaced, but whoever comes along probably should try to replicate some of what these folks did. I think it would be appreciated. I mean, look at Leonid and Friends right now. Holy crap, Batman. I mean, that's a Chicago band right there. As they are. They are a Chicago band. You may not like all of the personnel in that group, but really making a lot of waves, especially on YouTube, with millions of views on their songs, which are basically tributes to Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they've taken on a couple of other bands. I think Blood, Sweat, and Tears was one of them, and more recently, The Eyes of March. So definitely horn-based music and a real appreciation for it. And that's kind of like the next wave, folks. Leonid and Friends. That's really the next wave of what Chicago fans, the traditional Chicago fans, like. So we'll keep you posted about James Pankow. If I hear anything, I will let you know via video. Of course, we wish James the best and hope that if he is feeling a little under the weather, that he feels better and gets back out there on the road. I mean, he's got to be out there on the road. That is what those guys do. They're on the road. And before you can't go on the road anymore. You know what I mean? Who knows what might happen in the future as far as what happened last year. It could happen again. And then these guys won't have tour dates. And that will be the end of everything. All right. So that's my video on the topic. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Check out Patreon. And I will see you soon.